Hey, what's up, you all? I wanted to do a quick video just with tips about how to get hired to work on the base core team or just by projects building in the base ecosystem. Um, when I started in this space I guess about like almost 12 years ago, it was in Bitcoin, and there was actually only one place that people were really hanging out. It was either in forums for more like async type communication, or it was on Freenode on IRC Internet Relay Chat, where people were actually just all around the clock talking about things. And so that was really like the only place that you could talk to others that were trying to build on Bitcoin, that were curious about Bitcoin, and then like projects that were starting to form around Bitcoin. And just hanging out there was actually like what opened the door to me to be able to work in the space. And so um, I remember distinctly like somebody one day was saying, "Hey, I need to set up a mail server. How do I set up like a mailing list to sell my ASIC miners?" And I was thinking, well, that's something I know how to do. And so I mentioned to the person, I can help you do that. And they ended up paying me about $100 an hour in Bitcoin at the time. If only I had held that, it would have been much more than $100 an hour today. But side story. Anyways, I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. This person that I've never met, they're just totally up for hiring me on the other side of the computer to help them set up a mailing list. Turns out that person was the CEO of Canon Creative, the one of the largest manufacturers of ASIC miners. And so that kind of like opened the door for me to be like, wow, I can be in this space. I'm really interested in the tech. Um, I feel like there's going to be more opportunities here. And so the reason why I tell that story is because fast forward to today, like over a decade later, this is actually one of the best times to get started trying to get hired in the space, join up with base, join up with a team in the space, because there's not one forum, there's not one IRC server, one channel that you can network in. There's actually hundreds and thousands of different communities on base that you can start networking in, building relationships in, to find a better job, to open the door to a better life, to be able to make the switch out of, maybe it's like Web 2, maybe it's from like another network that you're just not really feeling the vibe in, to better connect and do more, help yourself open the door to something better in 2025 in this space. So we're just going to drive through a few things that I would recommend looking at here in this video, if that's something that you're interested in. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to share actually just my entire screen here. Um, so apologies. Actually, I'll just start with my tab. So first off, like here we are on base.org. So if you've been in the space for a while, you have a high level of experience, you really want to make the switch to being on the base core team. The place that you should go for this is to the jobs page, and so that's under the about link in the sublink there for jobs. You can also just go to base.org/jobs, and the base core team has all kinds of different opportunities right now. We're expanding around the globe. Base country ambassadors, base country leads. This is just the beginning. And so you can see here we already have 3 opportunities for Argentina, Kenya, the Philippines. In the new year, there's going to be many more of these. So it's a really good opportunity for you right now if you're in this particular part of the world. Maybe it's Turkey, maybe it's Australia, anywhere, for you to start making a local impact in your community, for when base starts looking to want to hire a lead in your area, you already have something you can point to say, hey, I applied. These are all the things that I've done in my country to help others get connected to base. And so just putting that out there. Also, just in general within our ecosystem, global ecosystem growth lead, just helping people get on chain around the world. Also, just ecosystem associate. This is basically like lots of projects are trying to get better well integrated into base. Maybe they're building some type of retail app, something that everybody can use. Like, how can we help them more closely be able to leverage base community, plug in the right places to grow their own community on top of base? And that consumer ecosystem lead is heading that up. The associate is working with it. Also, just in design, all kinds of things happening with base right now. And so if you're a designer, you've been building on chain, you've been designing on chain for the last few years, highly recommend coming in to apply for one of these design roles. I say this with bias, but also honestly, the designers I'm working with at Base are the most talented designers that I've ever encountered in my professional career in Web 2, in Web 3. So if you're thinking about making the switch, definitely apply here. And then also, if you're somebody that maybe been working for like a Fortune 50 or like a really large enterprise in Web 2, and you know what, you really want to start to make the switch into building on chain, this is also a good opportunity for you. And the reason I say that is because right now in this space, we are we have two types of competition. On one hand, we have different networks, different L1s, all trying to figure out how do we create more opportunities to bring people on chain? How do we bring people to our networks? And so that's like one type of competition. But honestly, I feel like that's not the type of competition we need to be focusing on. The real competition we need to be focusing on is really since the inception of the internet, there's been hundreds of billions of dollars invested in perfect user experience for Web 2, building a perfect way for people to just easily click and start using something online. And so those are the types of apps, those are the types of websites that we really need to be thinking about across our entire ecosystem, across all networks, this entire on-chain community. How are we building user experiences that compete with that, that aren't only just as good, as simple and streamlined, but actually better? And so if you're coming from that type of space and you're like, you know what, I want to build on chain, I want to build an open internet for everybody, apply for one of these roles. And then lastly, just in general, if you're a developer, there's all kinds of engineering opportunities on the base core team right now. Um, Check them out, click through, apply. And then we also have stuff that's like non-technical, finance, accounting, and then on our product team, that's also like kind of going back to what I was talking about with design, is a really great opportunity right now. If you're coming from like, been in Web 2 for many years, building, designing, uh, managing products, this is also a good role to be thinking about to apply to. Yeah. So, anyways, give this page a scroll. I also just want to go ahead and click into our ecosystem page. If in addition to applying for any number of roles that I just showed you on base.org/jobs, um, as I said at the beginning of this video, when I came into this space, there was like one forum, there was one chat channel you could join. Uh, this is base.org/ecosystem. This is the base.org/ecosystem page right here. You can also get to it on base.org and just go to apps, or you can go to base.org/ecosystem. Um, on this particular page are literally hundreds of projects, all on base. All of these projects have their own chat channels. They have, a lot of them, their own forums. And so exponentially, like a much larger number of projects that you can start to potentially get involved in, apply to. And so what I would highly recommend is that if you're looking at, working on the base core team, also take a browse through base.org/ecosystem and think about like what you're interested in. Are you really into DeFi? Are you really into NFTs? Do you want to do like social on chain? Like, just start clicking through these projects, start clicking and joining those communities, and start networking to um, better connect with what these projects need to take what they're doing to the next level. And that, in my personal opinion, is probably one of the most undervalued opportunities right now to get a new job in this space. And so, a lot of us, all of us really are crypto enthusiasts. I hope that, are watching this video where we chat, on Discord or on X. Um, and so if you've been in this space as like an enthusiast, but you're like, you know what, I really want to quit my off-chain job. I want to get out of Web 2, or I want to make a change in my life in 2025. I want to get into this space. I want to work on what I'm interested in. Um, Come here to the page and start clicking into these projects and joining these communities. And so, where I kind of want to end this video is on that note. How do you start to do that? Well, so I think of kind of two ways of getting involved as a builder to get a new job. One is like a non-technical role, like maybe you're a community builder. And so that's actually, I have a developer background, but that's actually not what opened the door for me to get my job on base. I was actually one of the first external hires to come join the base core team to be able to come work on base at Coinbase. And so, like, how did I do that? And just as simple as it as I can get about it, this right here is the Base Discord, base.org/Discord. When Base launched in, I think it was February 2023, it's hard for me to remember because it's like crypto time. So is that like 10 human years, or like is that like one crypto month? But when it launched, there was like, I think maybe the first day, a few thousand people immediately joined this channel, like these different channels, this server. And then in within the span of like, I think 2 weeks, it was like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people all joining this base.org Discord server. And so I'm sorry I forgot to share my tab there. But I just really wanted to be a part of this. I felt like that from where I had been in the space, starting in Bitcoin, we were limited by transaction speeds that really prevented us from building like a new open internet. And then with Ethereum on L1, we weren't so much limited by transaction speeds. We could build smart contract applications, but we were limited by transaction costs. And so really hard to build an open internet that everybody can be a part of when it's really expensive to do something on chain. And so with L2s, which I've been working around and interested in, I felt like with Base, that was the first time that I was like, you know what, this is it. We're actually not limited by technology anymore. It's going to be fast, it's going to be cheap, and anybody can be a part of it. An open internet that's completely permissionless, that unlocks the door to all these things that for many of us, like if you've been around since Bitcoin, like, hey, how do you help people that are unbanked? How do you establish like cross-border remittances that, people aren't getting screwed by using, these services that just charge an arm and a leg just to be able to send some honest wages to somebody in a family back in another country, or that's going to charge the heck out of you just for you working online, just so you can have some money in your bank account, so you can pay your bills, feed your family, do whatever you want with your money. Um, and so that to me was like, bam, I'm in this. Like, and so I just started showing up in the server, and like I noticed people with questions and I just answer the questions. And I made the commitment to myself, like, I want to be one of the most helpful people in the server. I want to just be the person that's like going to be like answering the most questions, providing like the best answers. When I say not just quantity of like, oh, I answered all these questions, but like really trying to help people, really building relationships, looking at this like in the context of this is like our real one shot to give people the best first impression for being part of something that's going to change the world. And so I started doing that for days. I started doing that for weeks, and eventually, that really opened the door for me to come in and be the lead for our base Discord, which then expanded into other communities. And so the reason I tell that story is because you can also do this right now with any of these projects. Like if you're a non-technical builder, like you're just somebody that's really great at building community, building relationships with people, like not only can you do this like in the base Discord right now, if you see somebody that has a question on X, on Farcaster, be the person that helps them, that awesome relationship that starts like, oh, this random person reached out to me, they like actually spent some time like helping me out, getting me through what I was trying to understand. You can do that on any one of these projects. You can be that person. And so you literally have an opportunity right now, the greatest opportunity I've ever seen to come into this space, to be a community builder. And so I say that it's not easy. Like I said, with the base Discord, I was coming every day. I was spending like countless hours. I have a family. I'm like basically like locked down in a cave. Like, what's dad doing down there? Like he's just always banging around his keyboard and stuff like that, talking to people around the clock. And so, like a gym, if you want like a specific result, you want to be able to come in and get a job on chain as like a community builder. It's not going to happen overnight. Uh, if you want to go to the gym, you want your body to be in a certain level of shape. You want this level of fitness. It's not going to happen in a week. You have to put that time in every week, every month. And that's going to actually open the door for you to get the results that you want. And I guarantee you do that with these communities, that will without a doubt connect you to better opportunities where you can come into the space full time or in whatever capacity you want to. Maybe it's doing different side jobs and stuff like that. The next thing, if you're a technical builder, and I've also gotten jobs in the past doing what I'm about to tell you this way, is just like for community builders, there are all kinds of different communities right now. The most I've ever seen on chain, I think, base, like I said, base probably just hundreds and thousands of different mediums that you can connect socially to build community. It's also the same as a technical builder right now. So you could go to base.org/jobs. If you've been in the space, you feel like, hey, I want to go next level with my engineering work and work on base. I want to be part of this core team. Go to base.org/jobs. Also, if you're interested in building in this space, building on base, there are so many projects, hundreds of projects right now, hundreds and hundreds, that all need builders, technical builders. And there's an actual talent shortage in this space right now. And so what are we looking at right now? We're looking at github.com/base-org. That right here, there's like, I think 43 different open source repositories. These different projects on the base ecosystem page, they all, like, so many of them have GitHubs and have different ways where you can just immediately, like I said, in the form of community building, just start showing up, just start making changes. You can do the same thing right now on GitHub as a technical builder to start making your impression, like making your impact, making it be seen that, like, hey, this person, like, they showed up in our community, join that Discord, like start talking with the other developers. They're pushed into our repos. Like, just even looking at, let's just say, like our node repo right now, we have like 30 issues here where you could dive in and just start connecting and solving problems, like making that impact and showing your value. And that is what is going to be one of the quickest ways for you to then get that attention from that core development team. Maybe it's on base. Maybe it's with one of these hundreds of projects in the ecosystem. They're like, hey, this person is like, they're just totally on fire in our GitHub. They're doing all kinds of stuff. We really need to hire them because without them, it leaves a huge hole in what they're doing. And so with that, I think the most important kind of summary is fill the gap with what you know how to do. And so if you're like a technical builder, fill the gaps where you see, hey, this could be done better in this set of open source repos for this particular project, or maybe you're doing it across different projects. If you're a community builder, you see people showing up in a particular community all with these regular problems, helping those people in the community, and then also scaling that and putting together documentation like, hey, I put this together that helps people explain, helps people understand this problem they're having in a way to where the next like 10 people that show up aren't going to have that problem. Fill the gaps, like play on your expertise and make yourself irreplaceable. And I guarantee you that's going to create a new opportunity for you to find a better job from wherever you are coming from, whether that's Web2, another network. But regardless, like a better way of living, a better way of earning, working on base. So anyways, cheers. Take care.